I call this piece, My Bracket is Busted. This time of year, college basketball is king. My March Madness sadness has ruined my spring. My bracket is busted. I got busted brackets. The teams that I chose didn't make enough baskets. My vision was cloudy, my predictions were faulty. My sweet 16 is tasting real salty. I took the #1 seed, but I was unlucky. 'Cause Wichita State got bent over bad by Kentucky. I bet 30 G's on the Syracuse Orange. Nobody told me nothing rhymes with orange. My brackets are busted. My money is gone. My bookie is standing out on my front lawn. I made all these bets without proper knowledge. Now I have no Skrilla to send my kid to college. Gambling is fun, it gives me a thrill. But if I don't stop gambling, I'm gonna owe more money than Lauryn Hill. I threw it all away with no rhyme, no reason. But I'll do it all again come football season. Omaha, Omaha, Omaha. Okay, I've shared enough about my March Madness plight. Now it's time to get busy, 'cause it's Def Jam night.
From stage 6 on the world-famous Sunset Boulevard, it's the Arsenio Hall Show, featuring the Posse with Robin DiMaggio. Tonight, it's Def Jam Arsenio with Russell Simmons, Monique, Stand Up from Tony Rock, Spoken Word from Black Ice, and DJ Metalcat. Now, here's Arsenio Hall.
Yes, thank you for being here. I'm Arsenio Hall, and that man up there is DJ Battlecat. You know. They know, bro. They know. Yes. For the few people who are not hip-hop heads and don't know, he is actually the in-concert DJ for Snoop, which means right now we know that he has a joint. Good to have you here, sir. We always thought cats and dogs didn't get along, but you and Snoop do great things. You do great things. And by the way, what's next for you?
Oh man, I got a hot project I'm working on with Digi. I want to pull out this out. I'll pull this out the box. Oh, my man Dr. Dre, we are collaborating with Kendrick Lamar's new album. How about that?
Okay, I'll come back up here. You all have a seat, relax. Got my little Def Jam stage here. Before we do anything else, last week there was an Instagram picture I meant to show you all, and it's Madonna. Did you all see Madonna's Instagram photo? Look, find a monitor. This is it. Yes. Looks like a new album isn't the only thing she hasn't cut in almost a year. Look at that. And you know how old she is? That might be a weave. That might not even be. Her hair, it looked like Tom Selleck's mustache under her arm, you know? Like she had him in a headlock and it came off and he was like, hey, where's my mustache? And here's something else I haven't done this week because we've been so crazed around here. The Real Housewives of Atlanta this past weekend, did you all watch? Some of you saw? Okay. You all will enjoy this, and the rest of you, I have to get you caught up. Okay, they wrapped up their couples trip to Mexico, but there isn't enough tequila in the whole country of Mexico to keep a fight from breaking out at some point, right? Y'all know that. There was so much shade being thrown. At one point, I didn't know whether the shade was being thrown or it was shade coming from another direction. I didn't know where the shade was coming from. It was crazy, but I came up with a system. I came up with a rating system that I call shade grenades. This is called shade grenades. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So let me give you an example. Here's Candy calling out Nene.
It's been years since you've been putting your panties in people's faces. Nobody cares what goes on in them.
Careful, Candy. So telling Nene that no one cares about her panties, I give that 2 shade grenades, okay? That gets 2 shade grenades. Nene got her panties in a bunch. Those panties no one cares about. Okay, so you ready for the next one? Ready for the next one? Okay, here we go. Phaedra got upset because she caught Kenya and Apollo in a private conversation. Now, it really wasn't a private conversation. There was cameramen, and there was 10 cast members, and we was watching, right? Okay, but Phaedra's made no secret this season what she thinks about Kenya Moore. Roll it, B.
Kenya deserves a good read on having good manners, but once a heathen, always a heathen. That's why she's Kenya Moore whore. Once again, this old wilted up hoe, Kenya, poor whore. It does help to visualize that the pinata is actually Kenya Moore whore, also known as Kenya Whore Moore. Yes, Moore whore.
She found every conceivable rhyme that went with Moore, didn't she? She found all the rhymes. Thank goodness Kenya's last name isn't Hunt. Yes, Kenya Moore whore. Ouch. I got to give that 4 shade grenades. 4 shade grenades for that. Yep. And most of the shade, when it got confusing to me, it seemed like most of the shade on Sunday night was aimed at Peter Thomas. Okay? Yeah, or as haters call him, Papa Smurf. Roll it, B.
Peter, if you're gonna stick your nose in our business, you need to have a pair of breasts.
Are you Peter or are you Patricia?
You stop trying to be a damn bitch.
That's the pot calling the kettle bitch. and calling a man a bitch on TV with his wife right there. Mama Smurf was right there, right? Come on, Mama Smurf in earshot, that's worth a whole bunch of shade grenades. Just a bunch of them. Yeah, a bunch of shade grenades. They was really throwing at that point. They was throwing. Hey, I like Peter. Peter, I don't think you're a bitch. But if you decide you do need a pair of breasts, I know another reality star who knows how to get them. Call Bruce Jenner. Have you seen? Yes. Yo, y'all, come on. He got a doctor. He got a doctor's number in his phone. That's all the time we have for shade grenades. Yeah, shade grenades. Hey. Ladies and gentlemen, I got Russell Simmons. I got the hilarious Monique. The bright and funny Tony Rock. I got Black Ice right here doing this right. DJ Battle Cat. P2.0. I got y'all. Let's do this. Put your hands in the air like this. Oh, let's go. Come on. Yeah. West Coast in the house. I am DJ Battle Cat. Yes. Yes, absolutely. My first guest is an entrepreneur, a writer, a hip-hop icon, and so much more. This year marks the 30th anniversary of Def Jam Records. Let's welcome the man who brought it to life. Please put your hands together for Russell Simmons. Look at that. They won't stop. They understand your contribution then and now. How has the industry changed? You know what? We had Kid Cudi here recently.
Yeah.
And he was talking about being disappointed in the direction of rap right now. He wanted less misogyny, less bragging. What do you think about the current state of rap?
Well, we talk about the collectives, you know, it's the consciousness. We're a people. You know, poets, their job is to tell you what people are thinking. And some of it, you know, is disturbing, but it's been our reality. You know, it's like they say, why the song's so sexual? Mm-hmm. The research says that a man thinks about sex every 11 seconds.
Oh, wait.
I want to be, you know, so.
Okay, I just had mine. Okay.
Right. So with that reality, I mean, an artist's job is to express what's on the hearts and the minds of people. I think the artists are sharing with us some really inspiring things and some things about ourselves that we don't want to face. I'm not at all disturbed by where they're going. In fact, I'm actually proud of what hip-hop has become.
You know what I don't want to face? I had a journalist ask me at the Grammy announcement awards, they said, give me your honest opinion about so many young artists using the N-word. And I wanted to be honest, but it was complicated because I wanted to give the politically correct answer. But my favorite song, I can't even sing it without
That's my favorite song, too.
Yeah.
That's my favorite song, but
so,
why can't you can't say it?
Well, if I'm in my car and my son is there, you can't be a responsible dad of mine.
Call me. My father called me that so much, and I was 12. He took me, and he became a professor of Black history, so he was not a a lost soul. He just called me that so much. When I was 12, he took me in the room. He said, "You're Russ. Mm-hmm. That's your name." What, Russ? I thought my name was for 12 years. Go to church, go to school, come back with a B and see what happens. You know? I mean, so that's the way he spoke to me, and that's been in my family and in our culture, and it's our expression. And if you don't have a slave in your background, in your history, if you don't have ancestors who were slaves, maybe you shouldn't use the word. So can we own something? I mean, so I don't worry. You know what? What disturbs me, and this is why I wrote this book on meditation. I want people to take control of their lives from the inside out and make choices for themselves. And I think, you know, we have so much to work. There's 40 billion animals that are born into suffering every single year. The greatest cause of global warming, twice all the trains, planes, and automobiles. New research said if you have steak too much, 30% of your protein is like 20 cigarettes a day. That's a horrible choice. I mean, it's the worst karmic disaster in history of the world. We ignore that. The other unconscious behavior, it just piles up. So much stuff that we participate in that's so hurtful. You know, worry about the prison industrial complex and how it's destroyed the fabric of the Black community. Worry about all the other injustice. Worry about the stand your ground law. Worry about something. Don't worry about language.
Okay.
My opinion. My opinion.
Yeah. I want your opinion. I've watched different people criticize Beyonce. I think the most high-profile individual is probably Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah, he went out for me, yeah.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I sat with him, I laughed the whole time. He said on Letterman that I almost cried. I should drop him off where I grew up and cry. I laughed. I laughed the entire time and I answered his questions. I think, you know, I thought limousines were made for sex, first of all. I thought that's why they built them. I thought, and not even with your husband. I thought that was like for who's not your spouse. That's how rude I am.
That's like the hotel, motel.
Right, exactly. So I think when her song is fine, the video is fantastic. I'm inspired by her art, and he has an opinion. He's welcome to an opinion.
Yeah.
You know, and so everyone's welcome to an opinion. They're like,
Hey, are you concerned about marijuana and the legalization and the more liberal approach in our society?
Well, look what the drug laws have done to the fabric of the black community. They locked up innocent, diseased people, educated them in criminal behavior, and dumped them back in the hood. They helped to create jail culture in our community. I mean, that's the prison industrial complex. That's pay for play. That's paying the government to lock us up. I mean, that's really what happens, right? In our democracy, they pay the politician does their bidding, and they're more important than the people, and the people have suffered. So, you know, I'm not worried about marijuana is less harmful than Tylenol, you know? I don't smoke, but...
You don't smoke?
No.
It's not part of your meditation process?
No, I don't smoke. I mean, I took every drug they made. They didn't make it, I didn't take. But for 26 years, I'm a vegan. I don't eat any animal product, dairy, egg, fish, none of that stuff. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I'm a monk. I mean, you know, I don't do much of, you know, I'm not really a monk.
No. Okay, so, you know, you've always been a pioneer for change, whether it be music, poetry, and now health. But let's go back to Def Jam being a pioneer for change. I told them during the commercial how when I first started, I didn't know what to do, and you brought me a young man named James who lived with his grandmother, and I put on LL Cool J, and it kind of formed my direction.
Put on Will Smith, you put on everybody. You gave everybody a break, man. When you got on late night, even now, when you're on late night TV, right now, I get calls from all the other shows that wouldn't call me. They say, hey, Russ, you want to come on? I said, why? Because Arsenio's on?
Oh.
They need to combat your presence because you're bringing all this new talent on television that wouldn't be there otherwise. And you were that way then, and you gave so many new artists a break. I remember sitting around TV watching Snoop and wow. I was amazed, you know, to see him on TV in that seat next to you. And a lot of artists had that exposure because you gave it to them. And they wouldn't have got exposure otherwise.
Wow. I was talking about the change that you brought to music. Kanye, speak on Kanye's talent.
Kanye's brilliant. You know, I signed the paperwork. Damon Dash brought him in and cared for him and worked for him and supported his whole rise. And Jay, of course, was a big part of it. But Kanye is so brilliant. People, you know, they talk about an artist like he should be a diplomat. You know, again, artists say things, they got rough shoulders, you know. They say things, lots of what he says is truthful. I'm in the fashion business. Macy's has given me a break. I'm shipping Macy's right now, Argyle culture. But, and no, that's great. But I'll be the black designer in there when I get in there next week. So this reality, you know, he said something about fashion and about the lack of inclusiveness, you know, in the industry, and he's not wrong.
Yeah. This book is called Success Through Stillness.
Yeah.
You know, if I was too still, I wouldn't make no money, though, right?
But no, no. Listen, I've written 3 best-selling books on the subject of happiness, and always they ask me about my chapters, always small chapters on meditation. But I'm on a board of a David Lynch Foundation, and we've given hundreds of thousands of kids meditation, and also we've done tons of research. And what you learn is that when the mind is still, everything unravels. Your nervous system calms, your immune system boosts, your blood pressure goes back down, you have more expansive mindset, and your brain functionality grows dramatically. You can actually see on a scanner the gray matter grows on your brain within weeks of beginning a meditation practice. It's a very simple process. I meditate with my kids every single day in the morning.
Okay, I want to continue this conversation on my app, Arsenio Hall Up Close. And we're going to take a commercial and come right back with Monique. How about it for Russell? Give it up! You all know my next guest. She actually does it all. She's an Oscar-winning actress, comedian, and host. I'd like you to please give her the love she deserves. Def Jam comedy veteran, the multi-talented, you say it.
Monique.
Yeah. As she's sitting, does she look amazing? Is that the first thing you notice? How beautiful she looks?
Beautiful.
Thank you, Brother Russell.
So nice to see you.
It's so nice to see you.
Getting ready to snap on me or something?
No. Do you know I
Feel
wasn't...
the way she smiled and said, Brother Russ, I knew a brick was coming or something.
Do you know I was not the best snapper? I was not good with that. I'm not a good, like, roaster or snapper. I wasn't good with that, Russ.
When you were young,
But when you called me Brother
Russell,
Russell, I felt a little like I was getting ready to catch something. But that's all right.
You're not going to catch it, but his ass get ready to catch it. Okay, you knew a catch was coming, though, right? You knew a catch was coming, Russ.
There's something. There's something. She must be breathing and meditating properly. She looks healthy.
She looked great.
Thank
you look great. You don't age, baby. Yeah. You look like when I met you.
Wow.
The same way, yeah.
How long ago was that, and where was that, Russell?
Make me say that. I don't.
That's
long time.
Long.
It wasn't even when we met. Shit, that was.
That's been a long time ago.
You ain't gotta answer that kind of question.
25 years?
Don't do that.
Uh-oh.
Hey.
Uh-oh.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Okay? Maybe about
Don't
15,
do numbers. 50,
20.
About 20.
About 24 and a half. But we're not going to give you that 25.
How have you done this?
You know, it's taken some time,
Yeah.
some years, one day at a time, and I just had to really change my mind. And the moment I changed my mind was the moment that things began to happen in reference to my health. And it was really my husband who was the force behind the weight loss and the mental health, because one day he just said something and it clicked. I was in the bathroom, he was in the shower, and I was in the mirror.
Yeah.
And I was being the sex kitten that I believed myself to be. Okay? As I'm standing in the mirror.
You used to talk about it in your act.
And, you know, he said to me, he said, Mama, how much do you weigh? And I said, 262 pounds. And I said it so quick, but I knew it was a lie. But I couldn't bring myself to say 300. Like, I just could not say those words out of my mouth. So I said 262, like that was better, right? But for me, okay, it played a mind game for me.
Yeah.
And my husband looked at me with the most, I want to say, just so unconditional and so sweet. And he said, Mama, that's too much weight, and I want you for a lifetime. And in that moment, I went through embarrassment. I went through guilt. I went through shame. But I had never felt a love like that before. So that night was when the decision was made. I got to save my life.
Wow. It's a great story of love. You've accomplished so much, and I've had ladies here like Jada Pinkett who will say she's known since she was 3 she wanted to be famous. When did you know you wanted to be Monique?
The night my mother and father got together, sugar. I knew in that moment when it happened. Oh, I was running so fast to get there. Like, do y'all know?
Funny.
You know, I think that it was just something that, for me, for as long as I can remember, it was, I wanted to be famous. Not so much rich, because back then when we were coming up, we didn't really see the lifestyles of people. You just knew they were talented, and you knew they were famous. So I think for as long as I can remember, I just wanted to be famous.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time you saw her perform? Tell me about this lady.
Her first performance on Def Jam was spectacular. It was like that, but, you know, for us, we in the control booth watching her and crying, hollering. You know, so it was instant for us and for the audience. Not only the audience that saw it, the audience on television and all the agents and everybody came and, you know, got around her. And so from that moment on, it seemed like She was always in my consciousness, and she was always visible after that.
Could you have
know?
seen the highest of heights in the film world? Oscar.
Wow, man, it's so beautiful that she won that Oscar. I felt like I won it, you know. I don't know if I told you that. I was so inspired by you winning that. It meant everything to me, you know. It's very beautiful to watch someone come up like that. And when we saw you do your thing, we knew that you were great. But then to see you do something that it was even a different challenge, you know, you had a different moment there, you know, and showed that you had much greater character, more than just the laugh. You know, you had heart and character that was, you know, so that was beautiful for me.
Yeah. You know, I have a little piece of video. Let's go way, way back. We don't know how long ago it was. We don't talk about that number, but let's go back. Check this out.
I'm gonna tell you something. It's nothing wrong with being a big girl. I'm a big girl my damn self, and I look good. You know what I'm saying? Straight. You know? Okay.
Yes.
And you look the same now. Yeah. Maybe you look better now.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. And you know what, Russell, I have to say to you, and I think that I speak for all of the comics, and just saying thank you, because you allowed us a freedom that no one else was willing to let us take. You allowed us to come on that show and be so honest and open. And the only one we knew that way was Richard Pryor. Mm-hmm. We knew Richard Pryor could just say it all. But when Def Comedy Jam came to surface, you gave us a pass. And that pass gave us an opportunity for so many doors to be open. I don't know what my career would have been had I not been introduced on the stage of Def Comedy Jam. So for all of the comics out there that grace that stage, I say thank you from all of us to you, brother. And you deserve it. You know, one of the things that my husband and I are doing, and we have part to thank you, Russell, because what you showed us as black folk is to have that entrepreneurial spirit. And don't be afraid to do it your way. Even when everybody else thinks it's unpopular, don't be afraid to do it your way. So, you know, Sydney and myself, we both say thank you because we did the movie Blackbird. Mm-hmm. And Blackbird is an independent film, and we're still looking for a distributor for it, but it's an independent film about a young boy coming of age who is a homosexual. And he's black, and he's grown up in a strict Christian family, and we know what that is. Yeah. We know what, especially in our community, it's still very taboo and looked at as a sin, and we deal with abduction and the separation of the family. So it's one of those movies that my husband and I said, we want to be a part of this, exec produce it, and it's ours. And we said we were no longer going to work a job. They had to now be opportunities. Mm-hmm. So thank you, brother.
Oh, thank you. That's good. That's good. You know, there are ladies, there are young women who are watching you, who are inspired by you. I know more than Richard Pryor and some of the comedians inspired you. What people outside of comedy inspired you as you were coming up? What stars inspired you?
You know, I don't necessarily know if they were stars. Oh. The people that inspired me is people that the public don't know. Mm-hmm. You know, I come from a family of cussers. And some people would say, well, how's that inspiring? Because it actually gave me the courage when I stood up on that stage for Def Comedy Jam and say those words freely. Mm-hmm. So my Aunt Bessie, who's one of the greatest cussers to ever live, she's about 97 now. And when I tell you, baby, listen, when she would cuss when I was a kid, it sounded like music. And I couldn't wait to sing those songs. Oh, it was beautiful. So my inspiration comes from, you know, people that I had close encounters with. My inspiration now comes from my husband, Sidney, our 3 beautiful children. You know, it's a team of people that's around me. I got some tough sisters that's with me. Mm-hmm. Robin Lee, Lena Palm. It's people that people don't know because they look for us to say these grand names. But I'm inspired by people that's right up on close to me, and I can see those sisters going through their challenges and their struggles, and I can see my husband keeping his family together, making us strong, and our babies doing it. I'm inspired by that. So I think the inspiration truly comes within, and not when you look outside and say, I'm inspired by that person, because I don't know that person. But I know Michelle. I know Sydney. I know Robin. I know Lena Palm.
Lena Palm.
Lena Palm.
That name
hair,
stuck in my head. Who's
Makeup. Lena Palm.
Lena Palm sounds like a form of martial art.
She's hair, makeup, masseuse, mani-pedi. She's the all-in-one package.
Oh, okay.
You know, so my inspiration comes from what I really see within.
I heard that. We got to take a quick commercial, and we'll come back with more Def Comedy from Tony Rock. I'll be right back. Everybody loves Chris Tucker. My. My next guest is a phenomenal stand-up and the host of Apollo Live. He is currently headlining the Standing Ovation Tour alongside top American comedians. Please welcome the very funny Tony Rock.
Yeah! Good night to be here, man. It's Def Jam night. Russell Simmons in the building. It's Def Jam night. Yes. He's the man. He's the man. Music, TV, movies, fashion. Russell has done more for black comedy than crack-smoking politicians and white people's dancing. He's the man. You know how Russell's the man? No, this is why Russell's the man, because Russell has real money, okay? Real money. You know how you know it's real money? Because you never see him in pictures with it. That's when you know when somebody got real money, okay? You never see Rupert Murdoch in front of the Fox building with 2 stacks in his hand, like... Never see Donald Trump making it rain somewhere. It's nothing, Ma, it's nothing. Because people with real money don't even touch it, okay? Only broke people know when they make new money. You see the new $20 bill? Bill Gates worth $52 billion, okay? You think he know there's a new $20 bill out? Only people that care about new money is people that didn't have any old money, okay? Here's another way Russell's the man. Russell's the man because Russell had a fine wife. Okay? Russell had a fine wife. Oh my God, his wife's so fine, they got divorced, he paying her alimony, and he's still her friend. That's the rule right there. You can't be rich and not have a fine wife. You rich, you better have a fine wife, okay? You better have a fine wife. You rich, you don't have a fine wife, I don't think you that rich. Hey man, he worth $200 million. Not with that wife, he ain't. And there's a way you can have a wife that's not that fine and be rich. There's one way. If she was with you the whole time. If she was with you the whole time, if she was with you in kindergarten, and she shared her cookies at lunch, and she was with you the whole time and helped you build this empire, you can have a wife that's not that fine to be rich. But your side chick better be amazing. Okay? It's the only way. And he fights. The other thing I like about Russell, this is serious. Like, Russell fights for causes. One of the few black people at his level that still gets out there and fights for a cause. There's a lot of black people get to a point in their career where they're making money, they don't want to speak out against nothing. And Russell still fights for a cause. Like, he fights for, you know, animal rights. He fights for gay rights. He fights for immigration reform. He fought to free Lil Boosie. I just need him to do a little more. I heard him talk about it earlier. I need him to do a little more for the legalization of marijuana. Okay? I think marijuana's gonna be legal in a couple of years, though. It's too much money being made, and the government want they cut, so it's gonna be legal. Plus, I don't think marijuana's a drug. I don't think marijuana's a drug. Marijuana comes from the earth. Take it out the ground, put some heat to it, boom, you good. I think a drug is something that takes work to get high. You know what I mean? Like, heroin is a drug. Everybody in here knows somebody that sell weed. You know anybody that sell heroin? You know somebody that sell heroin, you need some new friends. Heroin takes work, okay? You gotta go down a dark alley at 3 in the morning. You gotta knock on the door and the slot open up and the guy's looking at you and You gotta give him a password. Hey, diddle diddle, cat in the fiddle. You gotta get the heroin, you gotta put it on a spoon, you gotta heat it up, it gotta bubble, you gotta get a needle. You know how hard it is to find a needle? Anybody looking for a needle? You can't go to the bodega and be like, yo, let me get a bag of chips and a needle. You gotta get a needle, you gotta tie a rope around your arm, you gotta wait till a vein busts out your arm, you gotta shoot the heroin in your arm. That's a damn drug, okay? And I think if anybody could get marijuana legalized, it's Russell. I think Russell could do it. I think Russell's so big, he can have his own weed. He got the Rush card, he can have Rush weed. 3 o'clock in the morning, some infomercial on, hey, I'm Russell Simmons. You're sitting on the couch, you're rolling that cheap weed with your friends. Try the new Rush weed. I'll even include wrapping paper. Now you really rolling with Rush. I'm Tony Rock. Y'all have a great night, baby.
Tony Rock. Come on, y'all. Tony Rock. Oh, my. Crush. We'll be right back with Deaf Poetry from Black Ice. This is crazy.
Tomorrow, the cast of Whose Line Is It Anyway? And Gillette. And
names in the spoken word community. He appeared on 5 seasons of HBO's Deaf Poetry Jam and was a lead member of the Tony Award-winning Russell Simmons Deaf Poetry Jam on Broadway. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Black Ice.
When you look at me and my brothers, what's your first impression? Does the sight of us leave you guessing? Or do you understand the stressing, the aggression? The look of no hope on me and my brothers' faces like the Lord overlooked us when he handed down his graces. You see, embraces fall short on the numb tips of street entrepreneur fingers, still stuck in the walls of the project halls where the coke smell still lingers. External blingers is all we can be, because on the inside we've been given nothing to shine on. And a record deal's harder to get than coke, so my get they grind on. Because the TV tells us aim high, make all goals lateral. But see, that takes paper that we don't have, so brothers put their souls up as collateral now. Some cats reclaim them, some blame them, make an excuse to sell them. But when a goes from not doing to doing, what can you tell them? Not to be a I got to be a that's how I pay the bills. And I'm gonna do that whether I got to sling this coke or exploit these rhyme skills. See, America makes you an opportunist. At the same time, they institutionalize you. So the fact that we get big record deals, big money, and then go to jail shouldn't surprise you. That's what lies do. And see, most of these guys do have raw talent, just an infantile education. So the business feeds you all the weed and ecstasy and a little bit of paper to provide some pacification from all the BS frustration they serve you. Meanwhile, they corrupt your perception of what the real is. See, they've taken all our businessmen and giving them the mindsets of drug dealers, took all our messengers, made them rappers, just flapping their jaws, afraid to admit their treason, took all our soldiers for the cause, made them killers for no reason, and being messed up, well, that's in this season. So if you're negative, you're positive. If you're positive, you're called a hater. But I maintain control of my soul because I know it gets greater later. And I told you the last show, I'm no hater. I just know what the truth is. Been intertwining this pudding for about a year now, so I know what the proof is. See, it lies in these midtown Manhattan skyscrapers where former hustlers like myself sign papers and pull off messed up capers like 16 infamous stars at a time. They got us chopping and bagging and serving that 16 bars at a time now. The crime is undetectable by the feds because in the heads of our kids is where the track is. And music is potent. It's straight to the soul, so it's much more addictive than crack is now. The high is just an illusion. All lies in confusion, but to feel that rush just once, my young bucks will go through it. So in essence, they still flooding the streets with the thugs, drugs, and killing. They just using these record labels to do it. Taking our heartfelt demos, putting us in limos, trying to mess up divine direction. But young black men have been trained to chase money and so we fall victim to our own erection and begin to convince ourselves we're on our way somewhere where we're not going, but ignorance is bliss, and we love this, so take pride in not knowing. We not growing. I really don't care how slick you flowing if you ain't showing nothing to these kids or add nothing positive to the earth. Black Ice been destined to touch the world ever since I was born. To be real, forget a record deal. God gives me what I'm worth.
Wait. This is you, dog. We'll be right back.
DJ Battle Cat. And all my guests. Be sure to catch Monique at the Arena Theater on Saturday, May 10th in Houston. Thank you to Tony. His very own Rock the Mic tour starts in April. And Black Ice is getting ready to debut his one-man show, Self-Help. Follow him. Self-Help. I sound like a real country just for a moment. Self-Help. Follow him on Twitter at Black Ice, the poet, for performance updates and information. I want to thank all my guests standing here with me. And you all are going home with a copy of this by Russell Simmons.